Alright, so got everything back together. We're going to see if this works. So before you get started, there are a couple things you need, or actually more than a couple, but the main thing that you need is a Hansshow version 6 system. Before you get into all the systems, I know it looks like a lot, keep in mind that there are variations of this. So there's actually 2017 all the way to 2019, I believe, and then 2020, and then so on. 2021's already have it, so you're not going to be able to find that. But you can see that the canvas is actually different size, so just make sure you get the right kit. But pretty much it comes with everything that you need. I mean, these are all the tools. Some of the tools, they also come with like pry bars and zip ties. This is going to be the latch. It also comes with a bit to actually get the hole for the button. And then these are all the cables, the struts, and then the box. And then you no longer have a speaker system like you've seen previously. So this is built in, the beep and all that is built into this. So don't be looking for another speaker or anything like that. The other thing is we actually created a manual. You'll see it on our blog. And this is a step-by-step guide. It's a little dense, but this is exactly how we do the trunk installation. And then Brad's going to kind of show you some of the tools that we use in doing this.
Yeah, guys, so we're going to use a couple different pry bars here and there. We're going to use some stubby little 8mm wrenches. And then we have an extension here that's just really kind of helps us get into some of the nitty-gritty places. We're going to use a T40 Torx bit and a T25 Torx bit, as long as an 8mm and 10mm socket. This isn't required, just a basic ratchet will do, but we do use an electric one to make our lives a little bit easier. A basic flathead, just so we can pry some stuff here and there with the struts. We'll show you that. Some WD-40, that makes fishing the wire really, really easy. A nice big floodlight, and then of course some gloves to protect our hands.
So the first step is going to be removing this liftgate cover, this plastic thing, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be installing the button and then putting all the cables for the handle right here, this thing, the latch, and then all the buttons that connect, pretty much the part that tells the car whether it's closed or not. One thing to note is that this thing, the clips do break, so they actually give you clips just in case you need to replace it. We found out the easiest way is to try to find a part that's already kind of loose, or not loose, but like open right here. I feel a little weak point, so you just need to pull that up. There we go. And then there's two bolts that's super aggressive right here. There's two white bolts on each corner, so we typically try to do that last, and then you just work your way. Cool. So we remove this, and you'll kind of see these bolts. We need to replace that one. That looks like it's broken. But you can see that a lot of times these blue clips are actually going to be lodged inside here. If it's stuck here, you just need to remove it, and the way to do it is using this pry tool, and then you're just going to remove that. This one's broken, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm just going to try to take it out. While we're here, we're going to go ahead, and it was missing some clips here, so we're just going to put some clips already on back here. And then if you look at this kind of has or all of them, they have like, you can kind of pry this open or bring this up and then kind of latch it in. This is super hard. This plastic is so tough to bend that it's really, really hard to get this. So what we found out, or at least for us, the easiest way is to just try to take this one out and then just put it in this corner, and then we're going to try to take this one out. And typically I kind of feel at what direction I need to pinch. And then I use a 90-degree tool over here, and I pinch that, and then, and you can see that it's not broken, so that's good. I'm going to be putting here just like that. Once that's done, this is the wire that you're going to be opening, so just untie everything. If you look, this yellow, bright yellow, hopefully this color doesn't change, but if it does, I'm sorry, it looks like this. Okay, so you You see this kind of like long thing, and then this thing kind of similar but a little stubbier. But you can see right here, it goes through this thing called fish wire, because this is going to be fished later on through this tube over here. But then it reconnects back. This. Yep, just push it down right here. And now this is going to be connecting to all this system right here. Just to explain, these are called pigtails, and what it does is it goes to one and then it bypasses into the system so that it can communicate with the car, right? So the first step is to remove this over here, and this is going to be the thing that tells the car whether it's closed or not. And then this goes into this. And then again bypasses that, and then it goes back into the original latch. So that's the first step. Alright, just so that you can see a little bit better, I'm going to be putting on a headlamp. This is not required, but again, it's nice to have. So if you look under here, we're going to try to get you a better view. This thing, the easiest way to take it out is this gray clip. You just pull this out, and then you kind of push, and then it just comes out, just like that. This is the only clip that you need to remove. And then from here on out, you can see the yellow over here would fit there. And just like that, and you'll hear a clip. Oh wait, wrong way. There you go. And then you could push this gray tab down again. And then the same thing that you did over here. Cool. That one didn't clip, but it's definitely in. So again, you're pigtailing this, and then you want to leave this thing alone because this is going to pigtail. It's going to go under here, all the way around here, come around here, and they're going to connect it back. So we're just going to push this aside for now. Just going to shove it in. I'm not putting it on yet, but I want to make sure that I put it on the right side. I asked the customer which side they want in, and they want it on the right side. So we're going to create a hole right here, and then we are going to connect that button right away. It actually comes with this bit, and what it is, it's the exact size that you need for the button. So we're going to be putting a button right here. So I'm going to go ahead and just mark it, push it down. And it's a tight fit. Just got to push that in there, and there's that button. And then this cable goes in here. There you go, there's that click. And then we're going to leave this be because we still need to do the cabling over here. So we're just going to put this aside.
Next step is we're going to start taking apart some of this trunk area and getting ready to remove this back bumper. But the first step to that is we're going to remove this sill up to about these corners right here, and then we're going to take off this little plastic trim. I like to start kind of here in the corners just because it's a little bit easier to pull, and then you're going to work it all the way out, all the way to that edge. To get this little plastic trim piece out, I like to again start in one corner. You're going to feel where it's connected, and it'll just start unpopping itself from there. There's going to be 4 clips here on the inside that we need to remove, and we'll use our little pry tool to get these guys out. You just want to get that guy out, and then those guys will just kind of work out. Also going to remove this top trim piece here as well, and there's going to be 2 little clips down in here that you need to remove. So kind of come in from the angle, get your hand in under there. And it should just pop out. You're going to see these little trunk lights back here. We need to disconnect these guys. Again, there's just going to be a little push tab there in the back side down, and then it should just slide right out. Next step to this guy is we're actually going to work these fabric pieces back out a little bit. and you're going to have two 8mm bolts back in here holding the slide on, as well as an electrical clip. So we're actually going to take the electrical clip out first. So to disconnect this electrical clip, some of the older models will have an actual little red safety tab that you actually need to push out first. And then once you've got that pushed out, it should slide out. This guy, we're just going to have to compress that little tab and pull it back. And then after we've got it free, we're going to move on to these two 8mm bolts. You do want to take these guys out kind of slowly so you don't drop them down into the abyss. The next thing you want to do is kind of work on this little plastic bolt here. Just so we don't do any damage to it, we do like to put a microfiber towel here, and then that just ensures that we don't do any damage as we go to unturn this guy. Now to actually get this light out, you do want to be kind of careful. There's little plastic tabs all around here that you can break. So you don't want to torque it left or right, you really just want to kind of bring it straight out to you. One we like to kind of hold up here. You'll feel it kind of pop. That's normal. And it's free. So the next step to getting this bumper guy off is we've got 3 of these little compression type clips. There's one here, one a little bit further back, and then one kind of all the way on the back inside. So the next guy you want to get is actually this little clip right here. This screws and sandwiches the bumper to the fender.
We do have a lift, but we assume that most people won't have like a scissor lift or anything like that, so we're going to be doing it on the floor just for you guys. So there's a couple 10mm bolts that need to be removed. You just remove this right here, and it just comes out like that. I'm going to do the same for the other side. There you go. And then there's 10mm right there. I'm going to go ahead and just remove it right now. Alright, so that's one. There's 2.
For the last 2 bolts, before we start actually taking this bumper off, is we're going to take off these little 2 10mm bolts on each side. So to get these guys unlatched, we're going to start over here in this corner. What I like to do is kind of just get my hands and put my thumbs up on the main fender panel, and then we're just going to separate this guy from those little clips all along back here. Now if you remember that screw that we took out, that Torx bit, you're actually going to kind of fling that little metal bracket somewhere about your garage. So you'll need to find that later to reinstall, but it's really hard to get out with it being in there already. So you kind of have to undo this panel and then find the metal bracket later. As you see, our bracket fell. We'll get him next, but we're going to work our way along. This one was pretty easy. It went ahead and came out. So we'll do the same on that side, and then we'll go to do these top guys, and then we'll go to work in the center. To get these top guys off, we kind of like to put one hand here on our corner just to kind of give us a little bit of a up push there. And then you're just going to kind of work these guys up and off of that. Next, we're going to kind of work in this middle guy. It really doesn't take a lot, and we're to the point where you need to be ready because the bumper is going to want to come off at this point. So kind of work your fingers in here, get all of these unclipped, and get a buddy to help you. And now we're going to start taking down. So before you actually pull this away or letting it drop, you do want to remove this electrical clip here.
One thing that we forgot again, like the Model Y video, is we forgot to tape it. I'm sorry. This is PPF, but still, it's a good precaution to use a tape like this. And what you want to do is tape around all of this edges right here. Typically, a double layer would be fine, just so that when you are removing this bumper, you're not, damaging any of the other areas. These are the strut, the Hansshow struts, and these are the OEM. You can see it's a lot beefier, right? And typically what I like to do is this one goes around here so that it could come around and then go all the way down. Before you do this part, we do highly recommend putting a cloth or some sort of a protection just in case, because you might be pulling something and then you might hit the glass, so just protect this glass. So to remove this, it's fairly easy. This thing grabs it with this ball bearing, and you just kind of loosen that up by using a flathead and loosen. There you go, you see it loosen up. And as it loosens up, it just comes out. It helps to have your partner or your friend help to hold this. It is heavier than it looks. I'm gonna do the same thing for the bottom over here. And you see once I loosen it, it comes right out. You can see that there's like a teeth right there. And these two, this thing right here in the back is what grabs the ball joint right here. So if you don't have this lined up properly, just make sure you do have it lined up. And then loosen this a little bit as well. There we go. Teeth was fine. Same thing over here. Check the teeth. And then there you go. We're going to be running the strut cable, the power strut, all the way across the taillights, and then under the sensors, and then under the crash bar, and then through the hole. So I'll show you the hole over here on this side, and we're going to be taking this out, and I'll get a pry tool real quick. And if I take it out, this is what I get, and we're going to be cutting that and then running our wires through that as well. So I'm going to put that aside for now. We're going to go ahead and loosen this up. Just enough. And when you're doing that side, you're going to be doing the same thing. So we're going to loosen that up a little bit and then go all the way under the crash bar, and you can see it goes in right here. Cool. So continue following this line, and when you do feed it through here, we're going to feed it. I feel it from the other side. There we go. So the black cable is out, and you're just going to pull it. Make sure you don't pull it all the way. And what you're going to be doing is, if you want to come around here, I'll try to show you this. If a water hits here and it's straight right here at the hole, what's going to happen is the water is going to travel and then go through that hole. So you might get some water inside your trunk bed. So you don't want that. So what you do is you create this kind of loop so that it'll go down and it'll start dripping from here. We're going to go ahead and cut this right here. So I'm just going to cut all the way out. So I'm creating like in half, so that I can just go around it like this. And then we just kind of let this loose a little bit, and we're going to deal with that later.
This big old bundle is going to be the next one you're working with. It's going to be your tailgate plug, and then another one that says fish wire, the guy that's going to meet back up with that one. The trickiest part of this install is going to be getting those wires up in through here, and then we're actually going to run through this little tube here. So to disconnect this tube, this guy is just kind of like a compression rubber gasket, and you pull him right out. This one's pretty easy, nothing to it. This guy up here, we're actually going to pry it off. You're going to have this plastic seal here, and then there's two clips on each side. So if you actually get something to push those clips in, it should pop itself out. So also, to help our wire get through here pretty smoothly, we are going to undo these little zip tie hooks right here. And then, so of course to do that, you're gonna lift the little tab up that locks onto the zip tie, and then this whole zip tie should loosen up for you, and then we'll be able to reuse this. So once you get that guy free, we're gonna start fishing the wires.
And before we get started, let's take a note here. It's going to be green, red, and black. I don't know if this changes, so always just take a photo before you start. This thing goes back out, and just kind of use that pick tool to just make sure it goes out. And then you get, it keeps coming back. You get under that right there, the plastic part. There you go. And then just pull that wire out, and it just comes out, and then do it for all of them. Go ahead. Last one. Okay. There you go. When you're wiring this part, they actually give you this fish wire. This isn't the best, also because it's just really short, so it's hard to pull. So we're going to be using our own, but you could definitely, do it with this.
So one trick we like to use is we use WD-40, and that seems to work the best. Spray a healthy amount into the top. I like to work it through until I see it actually kind of come out in the bottom. A little bit in there. So we're going to go in from the top. I like to kind of jiggle it around. Once you get into some of these areas, you can kind of work it. And then it should pop right up for you.
You want to make sure that you wire this, and what it is you can feed it, and then your friend
Don't move.
can grab that. This part's really important because if you don't do that, you're gonna have to do it later, and that just sucks. And there's two, remember? So we want to show you where we're wiring this, right here in the bottom of it. There you go. So you can see right there, it's that hole, run it through, and then you should be fine. We have made mistakes right here in the past, so don't make the same mistakes we did. But pretty much if you wire it wrong and it goes around this thing, that's going to be an issue because this is the part that's going to be closing. So just make sure that the main wire is coming out here, and then from the same behind the strut, you want to connect that so that when you're running through, it's not going to be messing up. If that happens, you have to fish wire it, and that becomes really, really difficult. So you saw that Brad attached this little thing, this cone thing, and that will help it move up a lot easier. And you're just going to loop that in, give it a good healthy loop. And then you see it just goes around like that, like this. And then when you're pulling it, it's really going to go inside there. Yep. This isn't going to be enough if you do it like this. You need to make sure you tape it all and then really protect these wires, especially that. That is going to get damaged. For the part with this, I try to lay it down like this, where it's not as thick because this is a lot bulkier. So I lay it down like on the flatter side. And then about 3 to 4 passes each way is recommended. And then you can see it really cups that like that. All right, so we're ready to try to fish this. Before we do, we're going to spray again a little bit more of the WD-40 through this cable. And then all you have to do is just fish wire this, and then you can see it go through the wire. And I can feel it right there. Just kind of moving it around. It's right here. Okay, so I'll show you what's going on over here. And you can see that it's around the black wire. And this is the hardest part. So I'm going to try to make sure that I get past this part. And make sure you're not damaging anything, of course. see all the cables are getting pulled. And as far as how much you should put, this is going to go through here, under here, and then out to here. So you actually don't need that much. But I'm going to go ahead and just pull enough, just in case. Alright, so right now, that looks about right. I want to give a little bit more just because I need the button to reach right here. So just a little bit more. There we go. Now it's getting a lot easier. So that should be plenty. You can see the wires are running past that. So once you're good, you can remove. Awesome. And that gets really easy. Just get this out and then you're good. And then you can see it goes all the way past here. Actually, no. It goes under here. My bad. And then we're going to, probably should have taken out the tape, but should be fine. It's not too bad. You can kind of work your hands. There's a lot of space, so that's not a problem. Just like that. And then I'm all the way out here. You can go ahead and remember that fish wire that we talked about, that we put aside earlier in the video. You can finally connect that. Alright, so just refer to your photo. It was black, red, green. Just do one at a time. It's all the way to the right.
Yep.
So if it's not coming in, it's because you just need to pull that yellow out a little bit. Awesome. So we got it all worked out, and then pretty much we can go ahead and clean up these cables. So we're going to grab some zip ties. We're just going to go ahead and use this main cable that's already existing and then zip tie it to that, and then all these cables. That's probably the easiest right here. It's right there. And we're going to go ahead and cut that right away. Don't cut your own wires. If this is loose right here, it can just lay right here. And if you see these two holes, these are the pins that need to go up for that lift cover. So I would even zip tie that. Cool, and that's pretty much it. And then we're gonna go ahead and put that truck cover. So remember in the earlier part of the video, we put all our clips back together. And then if you notice, we put only this white one on the right, top right corner and left corners. This one, we could kind of grab this and pry it open and then kind of hook it to that. So this one is still on. So the best way to do this from what we found out is first, do this cable. If you don't, all your efforts are useless. Cool, and then after that, you want to make sure that you line this back part out. And then same thing over here. And then just pry that until it's in place, and then you see it goes in. Same thing on this side. Just pry that. There you go. So the two corners are lined up, and then this should all line up. And then you can kind of see before you push it into place whether it lines up or not. This one lines up. So I'm going to go ahead and hit it.
Reinstall this little rubber gasket over the plastic, and then stick it up into the car. Beautiful. And then this guy just pushes himself right back inside. You can use one of those little pry tools to kind of work it in. We'll put our zip ties back together.
This part is going to be all about power and the canvas, but before you do any of that, you need to make sure you're grounded. And if you come around over here, you can see that all the, where the headlights used to be, you'll see this right there. You don't have to take it out all the way. All you have to do is just loosen it up. Once that's loosened up, we're finally going to be using this new cable, and this is all have to do with canvas and power to the 12 volt. But you can see this cable right here has a ground, and it's labeled G and D right here. So we're going to go ahead and use that and make sure we ground that. Got the ground cable right here, and all you have to do is just slide this under that right there. Just slide it under, and then just tighten it. There you go. So you don't have to over tighten. Once you get a little bit of impact, you should be good. In order for us to wire the cables from here to under the seat right here, all you have to do is take this out. And the easiest way to do that is just bring down the seat. There's a rubber seal right here, and you should be able to find something right in here. And then just pull it. It's already out, up there. And then there's a clip. There you go. There's a clip right there as well. And then there's a big one right here. So it's this one, the side one, these two get lodged right here. If you remember the ground cable, it's the same cable that we're using. If you look at the purple and the white, it says power wire, and then the other one doesn't say anything. Don't worry about this. This is going to go into the box. So it's the other side that you're worried about. And there's two cables that you really need to run. The first one is actually the canvas, and this is the thing that communicates with the actual car. And then this is going to be where it connects to the 12 volt right here. You just need to wire it all the way through. You see this big wire that goes through, and you can see I have an exit all the way through. So it is easier if you have someone over there. I'm gonna go ahead and push this through. I was able to get the 12 volt battery through that same cable hole, and then I have my canvas right by here, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that, and you can see that I have access to both my cables now. You're probably wondering, how much slack do I need? Just so you know, the canvas needs to go from here all the way under the seat and then all the way to the center console. So I'm going to be pulling a lot of slack through here. And I'm just going to kind of measure that, and then we'll kind of go from there. All right, so I'm going to put this back up. So if you look here, there's a latch. You just kind of pull this, and then this side also has a latch. Super easy. You shouldn't have to force anything. So right here is where the 12 volt battery right here, and then the high voltage. And we are going to first turn off the car. Just go to your settings, safety and security, and then just power off, and then just power off. So if you remember, the power cable right over here looks something like this. And obviously this doesn't connect anywhere. So it needs to go through here, and this connects together just like that. And it just it won't come off once you connect that. This is your fuse, and then this goes under right here. And before you do that, this is a great requirement. What you want to do is run this through under right here. You can see that there is a tape right there. I'm just going to cut that. I'm not going to cut the rubber. There you go. You see I loosened that up, and now I have access to that. You don't have to cut the other side, to be honest. And then what you're going to do is, this bolt is a 13 mil socket. So I'm going to go ahead and then run the cable where you cut it. And you just need to work your way in. Alright, 12-volt battery is on, and we should be good to go. Remember, when you're doing the canvas as well, just make sure that the power is off. Also, it helps to raise it up, but one thing to keep in mind is when you're raising this up, this part can actually rest on this and it will crack your mirror. So when you're doing this, just do it very, very carefully. But you can see we have all this space and we can run through our wires a lot easier. And I have access to right here, so that's a lot easier for me as well. All right, so once you get it in the side, it just comes out. Oh, that was a little bit aggressive, but you can see there's roughly about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clips that holds it like that, just like that. So once you open that up, it'll reveal this. It typically is a blue, and then you just touch this, and then dislodge, or actually push down, just like so. And I like to push out. I'm in an awkward position right now, so I'm gonna try to do that. There you go. So I'm gonna go ahead and connect this. Disconnect that. Awesome. And then this, before I even go in, I try to push this in, just like so. And then you can see it lines up really easily like that. There you go. There's that clip. And I could just tuck it in that hole that you see right there. So that's no problem. Okay, so what you want to do is run the canvas connector from here, and then you just use this prying tool and then just tuck it all the way in. It goes all the way in, and there's actually a split right there, and then you can run the wires underneath the seat track, and then you can see the connectors right here ready to be connected. So I'm just gonna go ahead and remove it just like that. Now we can run this cable from here all the way through here, and then you can see I could start tucking in this underneath it. I'm using my hand, and you're going to continue doing that until you get to this split right here, and it's just controlled by Velcro, so you can feel that. Actually, this one is Velcro for sure. And what you're going to do is you're going to run that cable below the Velcro, and that's actually where the track meets. Remember, I ran that cable. I'm just gonna feed it for now, and then I'll grab it later. But maybe I can try to grab it right now real quick. There we go. I just grabbed it, and you can see the cable runs out like this. And what you want to do is really tuck that in all the way so you get unnoticeable cable management. It's all the way inside. It's never going to be visible. So this is the last step, guys. Again, make sure the computer or the power is off. And then now you can see the track rests on these. And these are cables down here as well. So we just need to connect that. And then we can go ahead and run this cable where all the other cables are as well. For the cable management here, all we have to do is just zip tie these areas and then keep it safe. Once we're set and this looks really good, you can finally put this back into place. You just do that and then you're good to go. And then you should be good. Just cover that up, the positive for 12 volt. Put this back on the way you found it, and then put this trim back on as well, which is like this, and then just line this up. Cool, that's lined up. It's lined up. And then we are going to put the seat back as well. Make sure you put the seat belt back on. So you can see there are 2 seat belts. You just gotta line it up. And there you heard that click over there. I'm gonna be doing the same thing right over here. I don't know if I have to go on that side. There you go, I heard that click. Lastly, we're going to be putting this back right here. And this trim is slightly tricky. The trick is there's actually one, this thing bends sometimes, so just make sure it's not fully bent. Two, and then this side rail over here needs to go behind that. And then you got the big one right. Let me bring this down so you guys can see better. And then you got that big one. So once you have that, awesome. So the key is to get these to align. Pry this a little bit or pull it towards you, and then get this aligned. And then this typically should just fall into place. Just pry this open a little bit, and then it should just kind of go into place. And that's it. So guys, we got the power and canvas connected now. Everything's back in order. We now need to install this latch over here. This is the OEM one. It uses T40, and then just loosen that up. Some people like to put tape around it so they know the alignment, but we're gonna have to kind of align it anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this away for now, and we're gonna install this new one right here. Like so. And the way it goes is the latch part is at the top, and then the wire will go in the bottom. You're going to use the same screws that you just used to remove it, and we're going to go ahead and just screw it in. And for this, the higher the better. I'm going to pull it up. Alright, there you go. I'm going to do a quick test before we do anything. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of loosely put this back in place. It's not too... I'm not putting anything back just yet. I'm still in the early stages, so no worries. I will make this cleaner. Don't worry about it. Just going to put it so that I could test whether my trunk install was a success or if I need to do some tweaking. I'm going to get started with the struts. So as you know, we have the struts right here, and it doesn't really matter which one you go to. We're going to go ahead and connect one, two, just need to be on the same side, and then we're going to grab the other struts, which is right here, and we're going to connect it to the other side as well. So one, two. Once we have the struts, we're going to go ahead and connect the latch, and the latch cable is right here. So just loosen that up, and the latch goes right here. This is the motor that controls the latch, and you're just going to connect this. And guys, we're just testing this, just making sure everything's working, and then we're good. And then this connects to this one right here. It actually has a instruction right here. I've done this several times now, so it's kind of, I don't know, instinct. And also, it's plug and play. So if it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit, I think, for the most part. So that goes there. The small one goes here. So we're getting closer now. And one thing to keep in mind is you do need to connect the trunk lights over here. So if you look here, there's left light plug, and then the other one has a right light plug. So to do that, you just have to push it in the same way you took it out, and you'll hear a click. There you go. We got the lights on. Now, this is going to be the kick sensor, and then this one's going to be the number 5 state signal and all that stuff. So this goes right here. Remember, it's numbered. Number 5 goes right here. This one is a little tricky. All right, so I'm going to be putting adhesive right here. So I want to go over the instruction and then this goes over here just like that. And then this kick sensor, you don't need that because I'm not going to install a kick sensor. And then from here on out, there is a daisy chain right here, so you'll see another cable around. Let me see if I can find it. There you go. And this is a power cable, and this right here is going to connect all the other powers. So this connects to here, and then these two are canvas and power. So I do that last, and this one is color coded, so it's purple right here, and then this one is the canvas. So I'm going to go ahead and connect the canvas first, and then go ahead and connect the power, and boom. And here's the indicator whether I know I did it right or not. If you notice, my lights are on now. So you can see right here, I'm connected from the Hansshow board, and it's actually lighting up over here and over here. These seals aren't perfect, but I'm just going to go ahead and test it out. If you hold this, you're going to calibrate the height of the trunk. It's going to beep, and then if you hold it, it's going to do 1, 2, 3 beeps. The 3 beeps means it's the fastest. So there's 1 beep right there. There's one, or that's the 1 beep. There's 2 beeps, and then 3 beeps. I typically do the 3 beeps, and then once you do that, I'm going to do a quick test. Just make sure there's no cables, nothing, and let's check it out. Okay, so there's a couple issues, and I forgot to explain. For the most part, that's a successful install. It went down perfectly, it aligned perfectly. I got really lucky with the alignment. I don't have to go back to the seat and adjust anything. But this thing right here, they recommend that you just twist this all the way to 1 ring right there. So I'm going to go ahead and just push this down. Do the same for the other side. And what this does, that should help right there. All right, we're going to try that again. Awesome. I typically just remove everything. Awesome. So I got my board clean, and then we're going to be running across like that, like so. And then this needs to come to the board over here. So this is where the board's going to be, all the way on the right side. Oh. Cool. And what you want to do is, actually, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and run these cables over here. So I'm going to run it through underneath this, and then come across where the board is going to be over here. I'm going to be doing the same thing. This is pretty easy. It just goes down here as well. And you can see I'm just like doing elimination. And then this thing over here needs to be mounted back here. You can see there's a lot of space right here. And this will fit perfectly. If anytime you're putting any adhesive, you want to make sure that surface is really clean. So we're just going to put, this is just 1 part rubbing alcohol and 4 part water. I'm just going to wipe this area down. And you're just going to stick this over here. And as you get it, you're just going to release that backing paper. Just like so. And then you're just going to be find the flat point. So for me, I think this will be fine. Again, do more cable management. This is going to be for the latch motor, and this is going to go in like so, and then it's going to be running across all of that. So you can see that I run all my wires across one area, and it's really nice and clean. This goes under like this. This is going to hide everything. And then there's a clip, 2 clips over here that need to be lodged through there. And typically it helps to use this seal right here to hold this in place. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And if you want to clean this up, highly recommended. Just use zip tie. Just kind of put it backside over here. Run that cable across this channels, as you see right here. There's channels right here. You're going to be running that cable across. And then you're just going to be lining that up. Lining this up. This thing needs to go over that felt, and then there's a hole that this bolt right here will hold into place. So just kind of shimmy it until you see that hole right there. So I see that. And once I do, there's a clip right here, clip right here. This thing should go up, and then the seal is what's going to be holding that up. Cool. There you go. And now we can finally start connecting everything else. So we're going to be doing the exact same thing that we did earlier. We're just going to start connecting stuff. All right. So you can see that all my cables are managed through here. I'm going to be kind of, once I get this taped up, I want to manage my cables. And what you want to do is get the double-sided tape. Get one side. Grab another one from the box. And then grab this side as well. Typically, they recommend that you take this thing out because it just makes it easier for you to slide. But you might be able to get around it without doing that. So like for example, like me right here, and then you just want to make sure that you get your double-sided, and then you're going to paste it right here where it says Tesla. So I got my power lodged in there, and then this is where you can start running all your cables here into this area, and then it should be all hidden from everything else. Push that back into place. You can see, get the seal around properly. And there you go. And then we're going to go ahead and put back these. And there was one right here. Alright, so we pretty much got this all cleaned up. It's ready to go. All we have to do is put the bumper back on, the tail lights, and then we're going to do a last minute testing, and then we should be good to go. Alright, so got everything back together. We're going to see if this works. Okay, so what that means is, as you saw, it kind of went back up. After that, it means that it's not latching on properly. So we might have to adjust a couple things. Go ahead and make sure everything is good. This is low. Ah, look at that. So let's test it out. Awesome, look at that soft close. So hopefully this helped you guys. It was a lot longer video than I anticipated. But we tried to give as much detail as possible. I think there may be a lot of easier ways, so if you have any other ideas on how we can make this even more efficient, just feel free to comment and reach out to us at Tesla Bros. Thanks for watching. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed our how-to series. We're going to do a lot more, so just stay tuned.